This is OwlUp, where learning happens in minutes, not hours. For a deeper journey, explore all our courses at owlup.co. Now, let's dive in. Welcome to Chapter 1 of our series, Mastering Healthy Sleep Routines. In this episode, titled Understanding the Science of Sleep, we're going to explore the fascinating stages of sleep and uncover what each one does for your mind and body. So, let's dive in. Right now, while you're awake, your brain is already quietly planning tonight's sleep. In one typical night, it will rotate through several distinct modes. Some clear your body, others edit your memories, others tune your emotions. Miss sleep, and those invisible shifts start to misfire. 13%. That's how much your risk of dying from any cause jumps when you regularly sleep under 6 hours. Not because your body is weak, but because you're quietly running it outside its design specs. The "how tired do I feel" test is a terrible gauge of this. Your brain adapts to chronic sleep loss the way someone adapts to a noisy apartment. You stop noticing, but the damage doesn't stop. Behind the scenes, two forces are steering every night: your circadian clock, tuned by light and timing, and a rising sleep pressure that tracks how long you've been awake. Together, they decide when you get sleepy and how deep your sleep runs. Misalign them, late screens, erratic bedtimes, social jet lag, and the whole system drifts. In this episode, we'll unpack how these two systems work together and how to nudge them back into sync so sleep becomes easier, deeper, and more reliable. Your sleep isn't just about enough hours, it's about when those hours land and what your body does with them. Across the night, you pass through stages, N1, N2, N3, and REM, that don't show up in equal slices. Early sleep is usually richer in deep N3, while the late morning hours are packed with REM. That means shifting your schedule by even 60 to 90 minutes can trade away specific benefits, like moving money out of a long-term investment and into a checking account. More accessible time awake, but less growth in the background. In this episode, we'll map these stages onto real-life choices: alarms, naps, and late-night work. Think of tonight's sleep as a carefully timed sequence rather than a single on-off block. Once you're past that light N1 drowsiness, your brain spends roughly half the night in N2. This is where your sensory gates start to filter out the outside world just enough that sounds and light are less likely to yank you awake, if they're not too intense. Sleep spindles, those rapid bursts on an EEG, seem to act like temporary earplugs, protecting your sleep while your brain quietly organizes skills and facts you practice during the day. Then comes N3, your deepest, slow-wave sleep. Most adults front-load it in the first third of the night, especially the first 2 to 3 hours after you fall asleep. Growth hormone surges, blood pressure dips, and your body leans hard into physical restoration and immune support. Cut your sleep short at the beginning of the night, early shifts, late gaming, "I'll just start my sleep at 1 a.m., and you're disproportionately cutting this heavy-duty repair window. Toward the early morning, your architecture tilts toward REM. This is where emotional experiences from the day get reprocessed and integrated, often showing up in dreams. Heart rate and breathing become more variable, and your brain becomes almost as metabolically active as in wakefulness. When your alarm slices through this late-stage REM, you're not just losing 30 minutes, you're interrupting a block that stabilizes mood, creativity, and social intuition. Here's the catch. Your body expects these phases in a predictable order and timing. Drift your sleep window around the clock and you're constantly shuffling the balance, trading deep N3 for lighter N2 or REM for groggy awakenings. This is why two people can both get 7 hours, yet feel completely different. One preserved those early N3 and late REM-rich segments, the other scattered them with awakenings, light pollution, or inconsistent schedules. The goal isn't perfection, it's stacking the odds so your natural architecture can run its full program most nights. Think of your night like a carefully coded app release. If you keep pushing updates at random times, bugs slip through. Let's ground this in real life. The new parent who grabs fragmented naps may total 7 hours, yet wakes feeling wired and tired because their deepest cycles keep getting rebooted. The shift nurse who flips from days to nights every week often notices mood swings before true exhaustion. Those late-night REM blocks are constantly being undercut. And the entrepreneur working on a product launch who cuts the first hour of sleep for email might hit deadlines, but slowly loses recovery capacity. Workouts feel heavier, minor colds linger longer. Notice too how travel changes the build. Fly 3 time zones east, and your early night N3 now arrives when your calendar still says evening. Go to a 10 p.m. CrossFit class there, and you're forcing high intensity right into your body's default repair slot, like running a heavy database query during backup. Shift the lens forward, and sleep becomes less like a nightly chore and more like infrastructure we're starting to engineer. Precision sleep medicine could mean your work hours, meds, even chemo are timed to your personal rhythm, like scheduling payments to match cash flow. Cities may dim and warm their lights after dusk, schools might start later, and AI could quietly scan home sleep data to flag apnea early, turning tonight's rest into tomorrow's most underused lever for public health and performance. Conclusion: sleep is less a nightly shutdown than a rehearsal for tomorrow's decisions, impulses, and resilience. Treat it like rebalancing an investment portfolio. Small, steady adjustments in timing, light, and routine compound into lower health fees and higher daily returns. In the next episode, we'll turn this biology into specific, testable habits. Here's your challenge this week. For the next 7 nights, set a fixed sleep window of 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. and protect it like an appointment. No screens, work, or bright overhead lights after 10:30 p.m. Each night, do the same 10-minute wind-down routine. For example, dim the lights, stretch or do box breathing, then read a physical book. And avoid caffeine entirely after 2 p.m. In the morning, get at least 10 minutes of outdoor light within an hour of waking. No sunglasses, no phone, just light and movement. At the end of the week, compare how quickly you fall asleep and how often you wake up at night versus last week to see how your new sleep schedule and light habits are affecting your sleep. This was OwlUp, your daily step forward. To keep learning with structured courses and more insights, go to owlup.co. Until tomorrow!